All the meetings to order. 3, 2. We'll do a roll call. Lisa.
Here.
Nolan. Here. Carolyn.
Here.
Megan.
Here.
Sandra. Not here. Amanda.
Here.
Keith. I'm here. Cool. Do we have any business from the public? No, none. Then next on the agenda is approval of the March 12th, 2024 minutes.
And correction.
I will note that I was not here. So we have one correction offered. And that is to remove Carolyn as a member present. Are there any other comments or corrections? Give it a minute. Okay, so we have a motion to approve the minutes with the correction.
I move to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the minutes with the stated correction, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, thank you very much. Scheduled business, we have quite a bit. We'll move through as best we can. Under 5A, discussion items. The first one is commission communication updates from.
That's me. So I want to apologize and explain last month, as quorum is sometimes an issue with citizen advisory groups. And so we talked about sending out an email ahead of time to say, hey, are you planning on being here? And if not, then rescheduling the meeting. That has been incredibly helpful with our evening groups, as it has stopped us on multiple occasions from bringing in presenters that in the past we've brought in and then we've had to turn them away because we don't have quorum. So my brain was stuck, and so when Alicia said we don't have quorum, I said, oh, well, let's cancel. Without taking a step back and realizing this is during the week, during typical hours, we've had good attendance. So we will not do that moving forward. So I apologize that that slipped through and that was my direction. So we won't do that. With that said, I would like to reiterate that if you're not able to make it, to let Alicia know ahead of time so that we can make appropriate arrangements. And that in general, we're going to try not to send out a lot of emails because we know you guys are busy and you get a ton already and you're already volunteering for the city, which we very much appreciate. So if Alicia sends out anything that has like an action request, we're going to ask that folks do that as timely as possible. Even if it's a yes, no, or a don't care, any sort of receipt of getting it is really helpful. So any questions?
Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Discussion item 2 is the upcoming local art events. Do this one very quickly, do we?
I finally printed it.
Emails.
Does everything that I've been able to find. I scoured. I have one more.
Fantastic.
What does it say? Is there anything on there for NAM? What date is it?
3rd.
Okay, that's fine. There you
Awesome, thank you very much.
go.
Did anybody else have any contributions for the? Okay. Then on to item 3, fundraising opportunities by Meg.
And for some reason, I forgot the darn form, but we received a form again, the antiques industry for this year, but the fundraising ad hoc committee kind of saying, let's put that on hold because we've got 2 other events we're probably going to do, which one is, we're going to figure out the library of that in the fall, right? So we want to be participating with that. And the other one was incorporate pride. So one of the things we also talked about in the ad hoc committee was having a booth for pride and making us stand out a little bit. We don't love the city, but so I've already contacted Keith and asked him about that, and he said, well, you know, the booths do cost $75. So one of the things though that he added in there to kind of sweeten the pot was, well, and we do gift them also, the third organization. So I'm gonna get back with him and then hold us a spot that they for right now. So what we're gonna need for that is a tent. I do have, but that's gonna require some effort on people to come get it, set it up. During most of my day down there, I've been collecting little items as giveaways. So, you know, different kinds of things. So, and then we can also discuss and plan other things like we did for the asking for donations for things. So, going back to the flea market that we did. So thinking maybe again about some of the trolls and the cards and stained glass pieces that Sandra brought. We're really nice to get people to give us donations. So we might take some of the other things too as well. What is the date of the date? It is the 22nd. It is. Yeah.
And so the city will have a booth there.
Yes.
So I can make arrangements to have another table and a canopy come out so we don't have to haul it since we'll already have. It is right here on property. It will be stored on property. Staff will be able to do that. We can take care of that on that one. And then, but you're more than welcome to opt into the general city booth because we're going to pay the $75 for the general city one. I would say if this group wants to go elsewhere, spread their wings. Totally good. That's a conversation if this group wants to go ahead and authorize the $75 for its own personal booth, or if you want to continue to chat with Keith.
I have a question. Can we ask that our arts commission booth be next to the city booth so that maybe we can take over both ends at certain points?
I think that's a problem. I think it's whoever in the past it's been whoever's there first gets to pick up the litter. You typically are like, shame. So, but it might be different this year as he's put a lot of work in it. It's expanded. So we can ask.
I don't know how you feel about this. Do you want more discussion? Do we want us in the ad hoc committee to just progress with Kim and see how that shakes out? Do we want the booths side by side? I don't have a preference. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like for us to be side by side.
Yeah.
If we can.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay $75.
I didn't either.
And maybe if we presented that, if they were, the first Friday is the third.
Yeah, no, it's the third. This year. Pretty sure it's the 7th.
7th, that's the first.
June 7th is the first one.
Sorry.
If you know, we're going to put on the dog,
Yeah.
then maybe they could reciprocate with a free boot.
Like T-Mobile stuff gets charged. $1 billion.
Well, no, that was.
They're more expensive.
That was the NGO fee, was 75. Yeah.
So see if they'd be willing to gift us the booth free.
I mean, what if we paid?
My suggestion was, if you wanted to donate $5 or something, great, and then we get a little pot and we think, here you go. Here's our contribution to, you know.
I think that our first step should have for it to be gifted. If that then we can go on. But we can always come back to the mothership of the city booth. So
just leave it open, so I find that very easy to do, to follow up with, and we can just buy those.
It's really good. And I know the library is doing their own individual booth. So there will be a large city presence. I know in the past there was limited space, so Keith was trying to get us all into one area, but it sounds like it's expanded. Pride has been trying to get us to condense the footprint, but I get the sense this year that that maybe is not quite as much of an issue.
Yeah.
And then we had a flag, a pride flag, last year that was donated that we did for the raffle, and the raffle person never picked it up. So I've still got it. So we've got one thing that we can already go ahead and raffle away.
Very cool. So, I would just want to finish this part of it so that we can get questions after, is that we'll need to sign up for shifts, you know, since we can only have 3 of this there at a time.
We can, so.
It's a year.
I'm sorry if my mind wandered momentarily. Did you say that we're going to be selling or raffling?
Selling, we may have a raffle if we can find an item for that, I don't see why we couldn't. And we're also gonna have donations, projected donations,
Okay.
like we did for the flea market. And then
You weren't here, I think, for the little, gnome, yeah. The one that made them, and he's a woodworker, so he made these adorable little, and they're all great with woods and things, so that's what we accepted the donations and then they got it.
yeah. Or is it different items? And then the other piece was that I'm gonna have tons of giveaways for people too, so, you know, you really put up and say, donate,
Yeah.
you know, here's all this swag. I think.
So Pride is from, I know I put it on the bottom of that paper. It's a board. Yeah. So what are we thinking shifts wise? My thinking is Pride is like my kid's favorite day of the year, so I need to make sure that I like I would definitely volunteer for a shift, but I don't like.
I would say 2.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, we could, I plan to be there one day, yeah, I'm just not gonna be setting up and taking pictures. And if you do volunteer, advise bringing some earplugs, because they can get super loud.
Last year I had a collective earmuffs, yeah, like for shooting, and those were great. So, yeah, and I have been looking forward to Pride. Unfortunately, I have other company business that is taking me out of town that weekend. I have to be in Madrid that morning. And I'm super disappointed, so I unfortunately won't be able to.
You're over there for.
So it sounds
Are
like.
you gonna be allowed? Could we people volunteer for a shift to just like be there and be a presence that aren't on the commission? Like, I mean, they just staff about, hey, you're more than I want to come hang out and
As long as she can speak, you know, to the commission, to you the show, so she can. How the rest of you feel about that? Yeah.
I believe it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't sign any liability waivers yet.
thinking like if we needed some, because we'll probably be there all day. If we need, you know, hey, we all want to go get a drink.
Yeah.
Right, so it's 16 and not many people would be like, hey, to 11. So,
I'm sorry, how 7 was.
so I was thinking would it be, and I thought it wasn't, I think it's 9:30 to 4:30. So,
Yeah.
That sheet. You have to give that, the city has to have that, right? Copy.
Yes. It'll get attached to the minutes. We'll get it.
sorry, 2 copies.
And then if that's okay with you to wait until next year for Antiques in the Street, how do you feel about that? Cause.
Antiques and Streets is in September, right?
Yeah.
What's
The other one is uncorked.
Then we may do our fall sale as well if we decide to decommission pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, when would we have to let them know about Antiques in the Street?
I just got them. I think they're pretty easy.
Maybe, because we have meetings all through the summer, we might have July hit and be like, you know, let's do it. As of right now, I think it's a good idea to be like, let's overcommit.
There is a price difference. So, you know, you set it up earlier and I think it's 50 for NGO. And after a certain date, it's a little bit more. So again, there is a price tag. last year we had it donated to us by a generous donator.
How do we make that back?
About $1,000.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably worth it to be there again.
Do we have the inventory of stuff?
But that's what I was gonna say, that was, you guys both did a lot of. Oh, who else? I know you did a ton of work driving around picking stuff up.
Yeah,
I just,
well,
yeah, I mean,
and Lisa packed like a man, and when it really was only Lisa and her generous coworkers.
yeah.
So if, you know, it takes a
Yeah.
lot of obligation. So if we're gonna think about it, then we want to do well and it's like have our chairs like that. I mean, there's obviously this on the commission.
Do we know the date of?
I'm so sorry, it's September.
It's normally the second weekend, right?
Yeah. And one of you.
By the 14th or the
And I'm
15th.
sorry about all the information. But I'll bring it to the next meeting.
I don't think we should do the uncorked pride and the antique in the street. I just think that's a lot. And if we're gonna let one go, we could, you know, let the uncorked maybe go. But, you know, we're just talking so much work and it's,
And there's just a few tired.
yeah. So we don't have enough help.
Because we're gonna keep looking for Friday for this.
Yeah, volunteers doing.
Yeah.
And my sense is for any of these events, I mean, I don't know if she scrambling.
Yeah.
I want to know 3 months in advance, who's gonna be where and at what time.
Yeah.
You know, not feel like it's kind of. And I know there's not very many on the list. That brings another quick business, but I'll wait.
We've never done the library and court before, but that seems like that's an opportunity to get rid of some things that have just been
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
But we don't know how much that's gonna raise. We don't have any idea. That could be amazing or it could not be amazing. We know that in the, we've done pretty good at the antiques in the street. But that is, it's hot, it's a lot of work. I mean, and I was only able to be there for a couple hours. So, I mean, I don't want to pile.
And I will tell you that I think some of the main success of that event came from one person who opened up their 5 stores and said, take whatever you want and how much you can pull. And I mean, so we were just like, we didn't care about the prices. It's, you know, $5 for everything or $2 for everything. And I think that helps immensely. So it's gonna be that you're gonna have to start doing that. If you really want to do this,
You don't have to stash a whole bunch of stuff.
and then part of our problem, yeah.
Well, I would maybe we skip the antiques in the streets and we just move forward with a potential partnership with the library. I have a second. Any final conversation?
I have conversation on that. I think the antiques in the streets, he made so much money last year. It's such a good fundraiser, and I don't know that we would make as much money with the other events that we're doing. And I think we might want to consider dropping a different event.
The one thing that I see that when you're starting out and you're fundraising, and you're just starting, there are still thousands of people who have no idea that we exist as an entity or what we're doing. And we hear this over and over. When we do it. Oh, I didn't know about this. How can I, how can I submit? So building an audience is very valuable in of itself. So the next time you do an event, draw those people and say, hey, can we be there? And I think it builds on itself. I hesitate to let library and court go because that's a new partnership. We're in a whole new place to display art. Think about it.
And we already have the stuff to staff. Like, I totally get that the antiques in the street, like, part of me wants to be like, I'll do it, make it work, but then I think of like, that's back to school time, you know, it's a lot going on, and if, how much stuff would you have had if that one person didn't say, take what you can get? That would have been selling stuff, that wasn't your house money.
No, well, there was some other donations that I did that.
Specifically, like, I feel like it would have been a lot different, because a lot of it was like that vintage, like the dresses, and that was stuff that really, really sold. If you don't have that, like,
Maybe we do, I don't feel like we told some, honestly, stuff that somebody, you know, some guy that had a barn. Oh, I know, with this Tom Person from State, and he was getting ready to move, and they had a barn full of like antiques, and he had tools, old stuff that just the guys would have left over.
Who put that? You organized it? Just.
Yeah.
yeah.
You myself.
Too much for one person especially. If somebody wants to volunteer,
I will gladly
organize it, but then you should not also then have to do uncorked. That somebody, you know, I just feel like the work needs to be spread here and not just fall on me.
Well, I can't physically do it. I mean, I can make the phone calls, I can drive my car places and have other people load it up, but, and I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to help whatever you do.
For you, if you were organizing it, was it exhausting for you last time? Was it something you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna do this again?
It got a little unwieldy.
It was only after that we counted the money that we kind of, yeah. But,
Was there?
Yeah, so as a reminder, we do have a motion. So the motion was to postpone doing antiques in the streets this year and move forward with the partnership with the library.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw a red herring into it now. Sorry, but maybe we should amend slightly. That if somebody will step forward to take on antiques in the street, then we keep all of them. I don't know.
Do we want to revisit next month as people take a look at their schedules and figure out?
Okay.
You kill it.
Are you?
or withdraw it.
Withdraw.
Okay.
Anything right is with your.
We just have a lot to get here. Discussion item 4, First Friday update. I requested this because unfortunately my First Fridays have started up. And then like things come up and people can participate. But I wanted to see where we're at, because I think we need to make sure we've got, I know last month there was a really last minute call for volunteers to make sure we had people there. Like actually staffing the First Friday. So I just wanted to kind of get that on a regular conversation piece. Like you're talking about making sure that we have a who's going to be at this, and it's not just a, oh my God, is there going to be anybody at this?
I have an idea about that.
Yes.
So I think we should create a calendar, of all the First Fridays until the end of the year.
Yeah.
And we put names on it now, and we know who the volunteers are. If you get sick, obviously.
Let's put all our events in the calendar.
Yeah, I mean, and so sign up for it, know ahead in advance, so that we're not leaving it to the last minute.
Yeah.
And just a thought.
So I can get that going for our next meeting, but in the meantime, who wants to work the first hour of the June show on June 7th?
I'll stay the whole time I did last year.
We'll plan on doing meat, refreshments, and staying for the first hour. And last night I was very, very sick. Still just dipped out. No, I don't mind doing the refreshments as long as everybody's okay.
Done. So we've got our first shift. Anybody want to take from 5:30 to 6:45?
Yeah, I would be able to be there.
I'm trying to not do it. Yeah, because I've been to,
I'll do it. Like we sent out. Okay.
You're gonna be there from 4:35 until 6:40.
Yeah, it's cool.
Sorry, I took that over. I apologize.
No, it's great.
Just help not be there.
Yeah, I know.
Did you happen to hear that the last one, Maddie clicked 98 people?
So,
To go from 0 to, we're gonna have to stay 100 because,
Well,
yeah, I'm sure like that. Very,
You would be, because
and I think that so I'm like very proud of this group because I think that literally to go, like it was like nobody came, like nobody was here or something, to go to that many people, like that's really cool. And I'm excited to see with what like the Pride show, like that's amazing. I know that's,
Yeah.
and there will be between that first Friday and the Pride Saturday. So there's no.
Yeah.
You know, that night, you could be there night.
Yeah.
If it was the last group. There, you know, so. Yeah.
I'd like to bring out the display of the tree. Something a little. Maybe I'll do to attend. It's just unclear.
Does her hands open, so. Go give it.
Haven't you guys been open First Fridays at the end?
You started.
Cool.
Your team. And you can bring your daughter. She can't. Yeah.
Right, so do we remember how many showed up to the?
Yeah.
So, that's a pretty good job.
It does kind of I know in the past it's been really lovely for one or two artists to take over the whole space. And it's a lot of work, but not as much work as 22 artists coming in. But I think having more artists, they bring themselves and they bring their people, and so I think that's really, I'm hoping that the same will be for the June show, and that we can kind of continue to ride that. You guys are rocking it.
So just so everybody knows, when groups come in like that, it does create a lot of work if I don't have someone who's representing the group. So for instance, Stephanie Lowe, she represented all these people. She did a fantastic job. She really did. She had the people lined up. She kept it organized. She had people come and hang, because let me just say, the hanging took them all day.
Yeah.
And I left after 3 hours. I said, okay, yeah, you got this, go ahead. And the watercolor show was the same way. I mean, the person, and she organized everybody. That's not happening in this show. This show is all on me. There's no one singular person.
For the show?
For the June show, which is the, right?
You're hanging by yourself?
So far, that would be great. So I'm gonna need
Check
for the show.
So Casper could.
Yeah, I thought I saw.
I don't feel confident. I wait up
And just reach out and say, we need you, you are coordinating this, can you please show up?
So what happened there?
It just, at this point, it sounds like it's a better fit for Lisa to still remain in contact.
Gotcha.
Because I don't feel confident.
I get it. Okay.
That's when do you?
June 3rd, I think, is the first. It's a Monday. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's June 3rd. Yeah.
7, 6, 5, 4. Yes, June 3rd, Monday.
It's a Monday.
Okay.
That's typically, yeah.
I should be okay.
But we can only have 3 of us here.
Right.
But that's not for hanging, right?
Right.
As long as we don't discuss this. Okay.
Three people, you can't have four.
Right. Because I'm gonna need one person to sit, it'll probably be me, to be sitting in as people come in. I'm gonna try to coordinate the inventories before that day, so we're not trying to do it that day. There are 39, I'm jumping ahead. We have 39 artists, 14 artists, 39 pieces to hang.
Significantly grew, so it's good.
Yeah, it was almost another there. Yeah.
8 pieces.
It was like everybody, like, I'm like, I know,
It will be open.
I get off at 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought we'd be.
We're keeping on that, just trying to keep everybody.
Yeah, it have to coordinate publicly on this stuff. Yeah.
So, A-frames, we bought 2 because I found a steal of a deal for them, so that one can go out here and one can go on each road. And I wanted to propose the idea that we have our table runner that kind of rainbow-esque. So Matt has said he'll put together the corrugated. Like a sandwich. Big garden, a cabin. I'm like, my brain calls it A-frame. So, the thought is on each side, it will, just say Arts Commission, first Friday reception. And then it'll have a blank spot because Cole's is signed up to do 11 by 17 posters for the rest of them. And so that way each month the new poster will go in, but it'll just have the time at the bottom. So, just want to let you know that's kind of the game plan this year. And if anybody who showed at the commissioner show is interested in taking home a souvenir, we have it.
I did too.
No, these were used here in City Hall, so. They were in Houston. I know, they've been on their entryway door, so I just want you guys to know.
Next has a table.
Let's see.
All of that, yeah.
I know, it's all because marker.
Are there any other things we want to comment about First Friday very quickly?
Oh, I have a question really quick. I'm so sorry. So I did 50 cookies for the first one. I did 80 cookies for the second one. I was not there at the end. There were too many left. I'm feeling, which is why I bought the cheaper cookies. So I think I'm gonna do 50 this time.
That's something.
Okay. I'm done.
Okay. I think the next section kind of rolls into this, reimbursement when the candidate.
Yeah.
Yep, and so, the grant money is stored at the foundation. We have the amount to pay for security, to pay for reception, for refreshments, some infrastructure items, as well as a musician. And so thank you both for submitting your receipts. What we're gonna do in the future is the city, our department is just gonna invoice for the full 9, however many months of security. They're gonna cut one check. The musician, it sounds like it's gonna be the same gentleman for a while. We're gonna work with him, get a W-9, so every Friday, whoever's the kickoff will come to the front counter, get the check, and be able to hand it on over to him. Amanda, you and I get to chat a little bit more. If you're gonna continue to buy refreshments, but in the meantime, I have this for you and I have a receipt for you that says you've received. So, we don't have petty cash here. So, we can't just come in and expect it to be a quick turnaround, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to work through the foundation to provide them the appropriate paperwork, but we will figure it out. And I'm just so thankful that you guys are doing this work. So.
Can I have a Visa gift card that then we could just like use until it's gone?
No, because
No,
no,
we
the
need
musician doesn't have.
I was thinking it was like the refreshments.
Yeah.
But keep an eye on that, figure out the fee, but then I would have to, I would try that. And again, like, we should have lemonade to last us for like 9 minutes. So we. And like, have a cookie in the.
Yeah.
We're down to, we have 90 left, so we'll be good for a while.
Okay. Keith and I will chat about that and talk to the foundation to see what their financial procedures and what the grant requires.
In the
That is a
meantime,
great suggestion.
I don't mind just buying it and being reimbursed.
Thankfully, we'll get you your fee in there. So, thank you. And that's all I have. So these are all new things. We're working through it. So once again, this group is very cutting edge and we're exploring uncharted territory. So I thank you for being flexible and for allowing it to kind of, yeah, they're like, you didn't give us any money? Fine, we're gonna go out and make our own. And so you did. It's true. Coming in positively. It's very impressive. So thank you for your patience.
The next one we got to get through, so it is revisit of the mural ideas and issues.
So at our meeting, I'm going to table it one, because we needed to just chat briefly about, we're going to spend quite a bit of time to think on improving the artists.
We
So, but I have one question for you, the grant from the Living County Coalition, is that?
so we've got a couple of funding the first guys.
Yeah. So the question is, can we apply for this grant every year?
So I'm shaking your head no. So here's how it works. Yes, we can apply for the same project. So they do not want you double like constantly dipping the so we would be very unlikely unless we make modifications for Friday. So we would have to add, if we were adding a lecture, to First Friday, something like that, we could look at getting the funding. If we want to use it, yeah. But I can tell you, I'm also on that. But I know how for you guys, when they see it, the same thing. They may, even if you do come back and ask for a grant, they may reduce the amount of limited have them. It depends on just how many applications they have. So we can go back to them, but we should look for a community.
Can I jump in on the revisit mural idea?
Keep this one.
Yeah, we have to keep this one. So Republic Services, they gave us $1,500 for the mayor's mural. They've since revisited and said, hey, how's that mural coming along? And we said, oh, it's in transition right now. Can we please keep the money? And they said, yes. So in the meantime, this is me synthesizing information. So if I am incorrect, please correct me. The feeling I got from this group when we talked about the mayor's mural was, love the idea, too difficult to pull together, too unwieldy to get a muralist to come in. We just don't have the time, bandwidth, or energy, or easement for the property, or money. Like, there's just so many things. But it sounds like there's still, so from that, when we had Stacy Bartholomew here from HUD, they went and they fundraised for $3,000 to get a concrete wall out there. So they still got a canvas for us, and they're interested in figuring out how we want to partner together. They're hoping we're still going to want to do something. So Stacy was originally going to come to a former meeting, and I've asked her to come next meeting to talk so we can have a check-in conversation. But I think it would be, if we could dedicate 10 minutes to this right now to figure out what do we feel like we could do with $1,500 in that space, and then so that I can go back to Republic Services and say, hello, we were thinking about modifying this project. Are these funds still available if it instead looks like X, Y, and Z? I don't think matching skin tones, I don't think getting in paint dealers. I think we would need to bring it in-house and figure out what we can do for a community mural. But that's just my 2 cents. So, and if it's something that we don't take ownership of and Hub City agrees to maintain it and do any maintenance on it, then we don't have to have an easement.
What if? Maybe we have already discussed this and I don't remember, but what if we did a contest? And asked something artists to design for that particular wall, for that particular community? Do you think we could get people to do that and donate their design? That they would see their design?
So they would be comping their artist fee.
Yeah.
In exchange for having the city put their art on a public space
Right.
and pay for the materials to do it.
Yes,
That's what
Yeah.
Sweet Home is doing. Sweet Home you know, oh, we're gonna have all of these murals. They're planning on 100 or a ridiculous number of murals. And I'm like, and they got Miller Paint to donate all the paint. And I'm like, how are they doing this? This is, we don't know, how are they doing this? And so it turns out that they're not paying any of the artists. Now, that means the artist could be professional.
Right.
And that makes me a little leery, but just the fact that it's a big project and
Well, we're not gonna do anything out of it. I mean, we have to, you know, pass muster and relate to like that community and to the idea.
Right. And I'm not a fan of an artist to donate. I'm just not a fan of it, but, you know, we also have to consider, the amount of money that we have right now with the library. We don't have money to fund a mural, period. And the $1,500 was
In hopes that we got the 5,000, even at 6,500, about how we were gonna make it happen, so.
now, we made a mural that was considered smaller. And you know, a 10 by 10 mural, it's not a show. But I think that we have to reconsider that. The grant that was gonna be originally written is still sitting on my computer. It would need a lot of revision because we're going to scale down, asking for, well, we're gonna have to have at least $6,500 if we're gonna pay them for this, pay for the paint, pay for the, servicing of the cement. Yeah,
But I think the price point has to stay under 10.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
But I think
Question, a technical question about that. How do ramps work? Can they go into concrete?
Same thing,
I think
but
Okay.
that's. It's mine,
Yeah,
and I work with mine, and I can't see it, so if it does. It's very nice.
so the Parks and Recreation Foundation is doing a fundraising visual.
I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah,
That's on a great
yes.
bathroom. It's a sheet of aluminum underneath of it with vinyl on top, and it will not bring us in under $1,500.
Okay. So that's about the cost of it?
Oh, no, it's far more than that. So it's,
But people like paying to have like their name.
Yes, they are.
So potentially could businesses buy into if we came up with something else? I mean, I'm just trying to think of how we can get other people to pay.
yeah, which is, I think how when we wrapped the garbage cans, there was the opportunity for businesses to cover the cost of that, but that program.
you have to have a lot, like, I'm very proud of the program that the foundation's put together, but you have to have a lot of eyes on it in order for people to shell out dollars. And even at Monteith with the new structure down there, it isn't, we're not full. We're about a quarter of the way. So I feel bad on scorching the enthusiasm on that one. So, can I ask a question? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, no.
And two, there were two kind of relationships. One, where public services donated money to get a mural done. The others, Stacy and Hub City fundraised to get that wall built. We could separate those, or we could just kill all of them together. I mean, it's not great, but we can just say, unfortunately, we never come up with funding that would be necessary to pay the artists the way we need to. It's just a fact, and it's not going to be a happy answer, but it's a reality of life. So we could either kill it all, or we could try to separate it and do 1,500 towards a different project so that we could keep the public services money, and look at some sort of other purchase with it, for City Hall or something like that. And they've talked before about wanting to replace potentially replacing the art in the chambers, which would be a very publicly visible space. I know those are not fun options to consider, but it is things that we have to consider in terms of, we were just talking about our workload, as a volunteer group, and then also looking at the realities of if we're holding the standard of paying the artist, which I applaud and think we should, 1,500 is probably not enough, so then we have to get how much we're going to push this to find the additional funds. And then there's still a lot of questions of how much is too much before we run into easements and other things.
Yes. So, are we thinking $1,500 is?
That is earnest money. We have that available.
When I was in high school in ATR, and we would, in the wintertime, we would go and we'd paint businesses' windows. And it was cheap, and that money donated to the art. You know, the high school art. They reach out to high school and say, hey, $800 or something. Yeah, students come down and paint a mural.
Don't
And that
give
takes
them,
the art itself.
Obviously, we tell them what to paint.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
You want to Yeah. I like that idea.
Does he?
I think the best option is getting the mural to
It'll work. It'll be.
I think that's really good. It's like where they have a key and
Yeah. So what I suggested a couple months ago with similar to what they had at the library at the time. Put the color sticker on the poster in a certain square, and once it's all filled in, so it's a picture. I forget what it's called, pixelated. Something. But I do like that idea because it involves the community. It involves the high school, and I think that's really.
That's where you think a contest, like a drawing. Where we select the winner. And
We could even have the high school students to submit.
I bet there's a computer program that works out that for you too. And like that.
and if we continue to work with Hub City, I mean, it is going on their property, so they need to be a stakeholder to have somebody available to sit in and say, yes, this is something that we would want to do that. So I think potentially at our meeting in June, we could set aside some time for this group to talk creatively about what that could maybe look like and parameters to go out to either the high schools and ask, or if it is a larger competition. We need to figure out how much of that's going to be for materials and how much of the $1,500 can go towards compensation.
They're doing a thing at Memorial actually tonight. It's like a family art night thing, and the guy, I think his name is Jim. He is like a parent of one of the students, and it's like a whole thing. And I think everybody comes and they paint like a square. And it's lines and everything are on a specific color, and then at the end, all those colors can be put together into a mural. And that's kind of like, I mean, that's a way of people can be involved, but we're not going to pay them to be involved. I mean, and I think that, I mean, I love the idea of doing stuff with kids. Like, I think that is a way to get them involved in art, and, you know.
yeah, especially the thing like your daughter's in high school, right? She went art classes there. And they have AP art, so I was assuming.
I think they have that in one art. It's not a big thing. It's really kind of, I mean, I asked her yeah. I mean, what about this LPCC still have art classes? I mean,
Very much so,
there's,
but they're not mural. It is its own
right,
technique,
right.
and
Can we talk about the review?
well, first of all, let's back the train up here a little bit. If we are going to do a mural and we're doing it in conjunction with Hub City, we can't really move forward until we get Hub City here and have a discussion about what they're expecting, what they're looking forward to, what they want to see on their wall. If not, you know, somebody,
Resolution would be one resolution.
one resolution would be, we have to get Hub City here. That's really what it's about. And then because we have to find out what it is that Hub City's after.
We just want to know if we're killing it before, how do we say this? Before we bring Stacy in, we just wanted to make sure, because she's already coming next month to chat and have this conversation.
Okay.
But instead of kind of making the sausage in front of her if she was here, it's easier, I know that sounds awful to say, it's easier for us to have, at least come up with possible train tracks that we can go down.
Now, we can suggest to her plan A, plan B, plan C, and then see what she wants to pull out of that.
Yeah.
Because the wall we were talking about was pretty big.
30 feet, right?
Yeah, it was very big. And so automatically we're gonna have to revisit that. There's no way we can, I don't know what our budget, how much money we have in right now, Arts Commission.
We would be clearing out we'd be clearing out everything that you guys have generated over the last year for this project. And I get the sense that that is what this group is interested in investing right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they want to move forward, and it sounds like they do, then we're gonna have to not only figure out the painting with that, but how to do the art without paying anybody.
We're providing a small honorarium for,
Yes.
Yeah, we could do that. Also, just to keep in the back of your mind that October is the deadline to submit for the ABC grant, if we're even, I don't know about that.
Lisa, if we did ask people to do it,
Mhm.
you know, on a volunteer basis, the design, if we go in that direction, we can put a sign, a plaque out with all of the people's names that contributed to that.
Sure.
And that could be there with, but then,
Because typically, you know, the way that goes, the organization wants to mural, they come to the artist is gonna come up with some kind of rendering, or it's going to have the design in mind. We can, you know, say, well, we would like to see this or that, but they're gonna have to come up with a design. So that's where it stops, because we never even have got far enough with the design. To be able to even ask people before Hub City came into play, when we were just like, well, let's find a wall somewhere, right? And nobody was interested because we couldn't say this is what it would be. So there are so many hurdles to that. I lost my momentum when it was just, everything just stopped. So I don't really know until we talk to Hub City again.
I like the idea of doing a contest, asking for submissions from public. Just seeing what we can gather from that. Be a good
well, you know, like you're asking for 3 or 4, maybe we can use that as one suggestion. Ideas to give to Hub City direction to make that.
the contest, 2, walk away,
3, involve
high school students or
college.
Well, and 1 and 3 could be combined.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I would say 4, maybe they have something in their head that they were thinking.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. That maybe they have a vision of what they'd like to see on there. And and I agree. I think that if we could toss out the mural idea, that opens up. I mean, it would work there, but I'm not sure that the paint color thing and
I think community participation would be amazing, and I think that would be something that this group could definitely tout in front of council and tout in front of the community to be like, look, like, get involved. I love the idea of it. You need really low barriers, and people are not gonna spend their own money and their own time to prep ahead of time to go get something. If we're lucky, they're gonna show up for 20 minutes with their kids before their kids start melting down and they need to go home.
What was, wait, we have,
Hub City Vision,
okay,
students, high school or LBCC, walk away, contest, either broader community or specifically tailor that to high school or LBCC.
okay.
I would say if we're contacting LBCC, we should also reach out to them. It just seems logical to me that they would have some kind of good art program.
Yeah,
And I think they're close enough to be able to help.
very good.
All right, yeah. We that because we had day two time next month.
We do have part of our city in Baker County.
I think we'll table the AA art policy because we do have a lot to get through. It's already been an hour. So, and I think there's going to be a couple of items on the act. Here's where we got. So, 5B, the action item, City Hall, January artist. So we have the submission. I actually tallied higher than 39 looking at the number of pieces.
Okay, so
But that, assuming all the submissions are for June.
they're not.
Yes.
These submissions came in, see,
That's cool, we're gonna fill the meeting.
they're usually in the statement, in the artist statement, they'll say, I'm queer, or I'm gay, or I'm, another.
And then participating in the project.
Or they just said June, or they said LGBTQ. Most of them, I had to say, said it in their artist statement. And I highlighted and went through to make sure, here's a transgender queer. Here's a,
What are you getting at?
well, that's because there were artists that submitted and I did not indicate that they were LGBT. Included in this packet, so.
But they said June.
There. Yeah, that did not say June, nor did they say anything about LGBTQ anyway in their statement. I don't think that
So I
Brian McWayne is the photographer,
Tiffany Miller.
Alicia, no, I think she was July.
Although it's the same Tiffany that I know, that you met Jim.
Yeah, no, she's not on my list. She's for July, yeah. For July.
Double check with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tiffany, I know.
Okay,
It would be very good if it was submitted to the, I know, we have to rely on the.
I mean, literally gonna have to email them and say, so we're part of the LGBTQ community, are there? And you said that there are 3 that are in question.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm slightly overwhelmed by this. And so I'm gonna ask that we just go one by one and look through each application and say, what is the artist statement? What is the amount of pieces? Yes or no? And then when we get to the end, after we've checked off how many folks are easily identifiable as part of the June show, awesome. And if there's any question marks, Lisa and I can follow up and we can make those appropriate.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank you. Sorry, I'm just a
No, good.
little overwhelmed.
But, first one in the packet. Right, right.
Yeah, this was a while ago.
Tiffany, no.
Tiffany is not, in my, like I said, she's not part of the, I've got her down for July because that's what she indicated, that was the day, the month that she chose.
And it says right here, she's private, she's really gay queer art.
Doing this one.
Oh, geez.
She does mention pride though, so
It says, in show to embrace my true self and that it's safe to be authentic and to be pride in who we are. Difficult page, but it's not saying.
So
It just saying,
there's a lot about this commission that reads my friend Tiffany Miller. And I don't know about it. I could.
Piece and it's 4x4. I'm assuming it's 4 inches by 4 inches. I
pretty sure.
I think June or July really.
He's not available in June. It says right here, the month you are available.
Yeah, we would put something up.
I will reach out. I'm the manager she just selected.
Yeah. So with this in mind, does this group feel comfortable moving forward and approving Tiffany Miller? For whatever month. She could come back in September and say, I got a whole show, put everything up. Can we try to say, that we'll approve by application unless anyone objects? As we go through each one. Does that work for you, Kate? We'll put together a slate at the end after. No, just
Then unless there's objection.
unless there's objection, we'll approve.
So she's approved, but we just have
We're
to
gonna follow.
figure out which show she goes to. Yeah, okay.
Now, the next one is, listed in June.
Yeah. And she's pretty clear, Oregon Date's clear order. She has 3 pieces, and she indicated June.
So as the name is 11/17. So it's really beautiful.
This is one of the things that.
Watercolor. Okay,
Yeah, there's.
Real, you know,
So she's approved, we hear,
just keep making
Yeah.
it.
It's running the plane, 4 pieces, does have June through the end of the year.
here's one of my questions.
I'm looking at the plan one, I'm guessing it's June.
Yeah.
Running
People in it.
Running June through December. He does not just say June. He also does not say anything in his artist statement that would suggest that he is
So-
part of that community.
The title of the fan pages though are Rainbow Bridge, Love It,
Yes.
Love When.
And the subject of his photograph is the rainbow.
I would assume that this is for June.
I think you should,
So this is confusing.
if you should reach out to him, at the end of our,
Okay, that's my last question. If you ask someone, are you part of the LGBTQ community?
You'll be a participant in a good show, maybe.
How about I will not make. That'll be appropriate for a staff member to handle. So
Okay,
you are good. I will follow up with Alicia to get the contact information and just say.
I'll give you the 3, here are the 3 people. And
If there's no objection.
I don't know if I should say, just say that. Actually, not true. I want people to.
There. There. 3 pieces. That's what they just show like. Say, each of the example work. And there. Objections, then move on to Abigail Casey, just stop me if you hit number. 2 pieces, 11 by 14, available all year. Each example piece is there. Next artist is Haley Eckstein, 4 pieces. Reasonable dimensions again, 9 by 13-ish. June through August.
Oh, okay, can we slow down here a little bit? I'm sorry, people. I'm not able to think fast. So Yes, okay.
One more.
It's with Omoto, aren't we on Omoto?
Extend that.
Okay.
It's been pretty-
Just a little bit, if we could.
Actually, we're gonna pass that. I like some comment. Okay.
Do you object to anything from Alex McConnell?
We're up to Alex McConnell.
What happened to Abigail Casey?
We've done the,
Okay,
big quick.
It's art,
the-
everybody's okay,
Yes.
it's art, okay.
Yeah, I just looks like he's a machine.
Literally gonna say that.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
we read the individual elements, Haley X Bank, that I didn't forget the art statement.
I think Eckstein is one of those ones that is in question.
I'm on it.
She's on
Now.
Haley Eckstein.
Okay.
You're good. Okay, we can do the example piece. We'll move on next, if there's no objections to Alex McConnell. Alex McConnell has 1 piece, 19, but 21, so we flipped quite a variety.
Is that, is that?
This one, again,
Yeah.
going to raise a content question. Oh,
Now, I have a problem with this one, I'll just say that, you know. God hates pride, like, why did God destroy Sodom? If you're going to hell, God hates you. I understand the political part of this, but I don't,
Lisa, I don't think it's political. I actually think these are signs that we have seen.
Yeah. I think,
And I think that that's what they're representing, but not any particular political camp.
I would interpret this piece as showing, an objection to objection.
that actually works.
I think it's bold personally. I mean, I
Yeah.
think this is something unlike we've seen here and it might ruffle some feathers, but I also think that that's what art does.
Yes.
That's totally selling art that is highly religious. I don't think that,
oh, this is not,
in other words, if this piece were submitted and it was not part of the LGBTQ community, how would we view this piece then?
I think it's a powerful piece, but I mean,
But if they're coming from the place of they're Christian and they're going to tell you, why did God destroy Sodom? God hates you.
so you mean that if it came in and they were, and it was making it seem like these were signs that they approved of? Religion. To me, personally, that becomes religious when you're having to say that this is how we feel as a group of people, whereas I feel like this is saying, this is what I've been living this life.
Okay, but how do we, is it the distinction, the show itself?
I
If
think
that's the distinction, because if we got a piece like this in and they were not part of the LGBTQ community, I find it highly offensive. You know, as a Christian, that if this would be shown that way, I think this would be offensive. If we were to say though, because of the show, what the show is about.
it's the
expressing-
artist's responsibility to make the artist statement that accompanies their work. And I think that happens in any exhibition. And I can understand, Lisa, I know that this might be offensive to you. I get that, I really do.
Only if it were not in the LGBT, but okay, but then it would be to me. But the fact that this person has experienced these things and expressed it this way, that's fine, that's great. It's like you say, an objection to an objection, I'm fine with that, because it's part of the show.
would your concern to just somebody submitting a piece that was submitting? So as if somebody were to submit one of these plans that God hates pride to the pride show without any other additional information. That is your objection.
Yes.
Okay. I agree. It is a piece that is talking about a person's lived experience, things that most of us, if you've gone to the pride event, you have seen this. Something that
freedom of speech and you're trying not to hope. I mean, there are certain things to deal with that. That we have to look at the boards on. I think if somebody submitted it and just a sign, yeah, they look at what the hate speech rules would be in the boards. That.
I think that looking at the image as a whole, it's clear with the actual messages.
Yeah.
I think, so this is a piece that's had quite a bit of conversation internally, just because most of the art that we've gotten so far, we are not cresting any controversy
Right.
at all. And I think this one will get some questions. And I'm more than happy to go to that and answer those questions, but I just want to make sure that I'm accurately reflecting what this commission is in favor of. And at this point, I'm saying this is a person's lived experience. They are a part of the community. There's nothing in here that would take it out based on our ORS that we've identified in our application process, and that we welcome any additional conversation that this art has inspired.
On a personal note, as someone who was raised in a deeply Catholic household, it's queer. I think this is a very powerful piece because I think that we are often seen in this light, and you do see these things and what would otherwise be a joy to vent, and then you're brought down. I think it's gonna bring questions, and I think that that's an important. But I also understand if it was presented in a different context, I feel differently.
Exactly. That's what I want to just be clear about and think about that as we move forward, or if we get something at the first Friday, that, you know, I'm thinking maybe we could ask Alex to maybe explain the piece like you just did. It's part of my lived experience. We already know that they're part of the LGBTQ community. But are the people, you know, so if that artist could make a statement about this piece in particular, since it's their only one.
I think it's important to not ask them to relive their trauma though through a statement.
Yeah.
I think this to me is a statement.
Yeah.
Maybe something that is kind of like, I mean, after here, you know, it doesn't really say anything, but I don't necessarily think it's fair to say that, hey, can you explain why you think that it doesn't right? I think people watch them on page, please.
Well,
Do what?
so it's meant to end debate, although I don't think we formally have a motion, so I don't think you can call it an individual piece because we're not doing it that way.
Okay.
I give Nolan a word really quick and then.
I think this goes back to what I stated last week, is as an artist, it is extremely hard to, I mean, I consider myself a professional artist, so I have to talk about my work. And it's extremely hard to talk about myself and my work in 2 sentences. And that goes back to, this needs to be more than, what was it, like 250 characters? Maybe solve some of these issues. But
I think we're there. I think we're in agreement that because of the venue that this piece is being shown in, we can understand that it's not hate speech.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
Okay. If there's no other objection, we can move on to, I'm just gonna say kitty, because I'm gonna say the rest of them. One piece. Does list any size, I think it's because it's digital art. It will make, yeah, so they'll make whatever size we need to.
What's the medium?
Digital, yeah, but I don't know what that.
Everything looks digital.
It looks digital.
What is it?
it's painted in the Photoshoppers,
Yeah, or on an iPad with a
creators.
creating it.
And it's more AI.
I think so.
It doesn't look like it.
At this point, we don't have a policy on that anyway. All right.
Okay, moving to, without objection, we're moving to Robbie. Two listed portrait signs.
Poetry.
I just wasn't sure. It's how we define it.
I've seen people do this, and it's probably good. I was just at a show earlier this year, it was all, it was really cool. Even just things like this, things, you just see people just taking hours going through things.
It's. I really like it on the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting.
That's all in civic theater. If there's no objections to hanging poetry, Cheyenne Taylor, 2 pieces, 10 by 10. You can see the representative piece. It looks like it's fair. Yeah.
But
What is the
The next one is literally 3 pieces. The contingent had on this one, the 3 foot by 4 foot piece. Are we able to exhibit anything of that size? Do we have space for that?
we do
Okay.
have the space, but
It's gotta be under 15 pounds.
that would be a concern, and also, the fact that a piece that large, we might be in the hallway, and I don't know how,
Feet wide, like.
Yeah, I will say this listed 3 foot by 4 foot, and but then look at the sample image size.
and there was nothing specific, although she did, or whoever the company is, they, said, do. So we're making an assumption here, and I don't think that's another one that we want to add.
I can call and double check that they want to participate in the commission.
Just that. I would probably also, or indicate to them that we might not be able to accommodate the 3 foot by 4 foot piece and be prepared with whatever they have, you know.
Well,
I think it's 15 pounds.
And right,
Yeah.
that's what
The big.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Sarah. Definitely. 3 pieces, 8 by 11, June to December. The representative piece. More digital print, but comic books out, which kind of.
A lot of people really liked the resold piece that was the same kind of style of painting some months ago.
Yeah.
Anthony Leon. Given so 8 by 10, and then 10 pieces of the list, which is I think by far our largest in terms of what we're looking at for. Although they also left off June, they put the last week of December.
Yep.
But
But with the language that they used in the statement, I mean, that,
yeah.
yeah.
Are we able to, again, I counted closer to 50 pieces. Is that going to be an accommodation issue?
I counted 39.
Okay, I would have to go back to the calculator and confirm.
Something more than 50 hanging down the air.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we have room for 80.
Okay.
And that's just the downstairs if we had to, the upstairs we could.
Then moving on to Lila. 18 by 24, you can see the example.
That was a big one,
Orders cheesy.
24, well, that's only 2 feet.
Yeah, the artist states, basically, yeah.
It's digital art, yeah.
School.
Moving forward, with no objections, Alicia Hernandez.
She doesn't say in the statement there, but she does indicate only June. I don't really know. Again, that was,
I'll follow up.
you know, we'll write her down. I didn't.
I get to have lots of fun conversations with the audience.
I like her.
Jason. Keep your focus well. Well,
And this one, again, what's the number? Jamie, oh wait, yeah, he does say bio.
I'm familiar with Men at Work, I believe it's a drag show.
Oh, is that, okay.
Usually is like yesterday.
Yes, Aurora Easy.
So two pieces from 24-36. I will say that.
If I did have a conversation, we fell on different sides.
So the ORS does prevent us from showing nudity or things like that. I would argue that this is a sculpture without genitalia, so it is not.
I would agree. Well, it has been, but you just don't. It looks pretty impressive, yeah.
So it doesn't mean that the commission is in favor of it.
We did turn down one piece just to let you know that, well, it wasn't, the link
I remember.
may or may not be there. Oh, yeah.
I remember like application, it was fully nude painting and they were already told and they showed them the artist.
So yeah, so I wanted to let you know, my first time having to turn down a piece of art. So, it's a whole lot of conversations coming. Like these are good conversations. So, and I'm very thankful that said artist took that and understood and was like, okay, how about the second one? Do I still get to keep it? It was one that I said, let's bring it to this group for conversation. And if this group's in favor of it, it's in the show.
So was the one that was turned down, did that show genitalia? I think that's relevant to this question.
Full frontal, yes.
Okay, and this does not, so I think that's fine.
Okay. Then I believe that gets us through all the submissions and I think we're all of them will be approved with follow-up confirmed date.
You and I'll chat about one of them public people.
Okay.
Okay. Business from members. Go to my left here, man.
So I scribbled a note here a long time ago, like at the beginning of the meeting. And we were talking about number of people volunteering, you know, from the membership. And so I was counting tonight, and there's 1, 2, 3, 5 of us, is that right?
7.
But
Yeah.
so we have Sandra that's not here, but so used to do the whole totally different. Never mind. I'm done.
Oh, cool.
No, really. The point I was trying to make is I'm wondering for Sandra, because she's relatively new, if she is having difficulty with the time of this meeting, like if her job is interfering with her getting here, if we can reach out and say, I'm wondering if we need to change that time to be, so that people can get here, I mean, it's the right time to be here.
I believe he said that
Well,
she indicated she'd be here.
You know, she said she didn't reply to the attendance one, but she said thank you when I sent the agenda,
Okay.
so I'm not sure.
We can follow up.
Okay, just,
I wouldn't get you stressed. I think she's been out.
Yeah.
We've had canceled meetings, this month doesn't have a. Is it time not good for you? Okay, I'm still done. Okay, sometimes, yeah. Catch things.
Nope.
Try to bring it up.
Yep.
Okay, Nolan. I'm good. Okay, Lisa,
I'm good.
Amanda,
I'm good.
Carol.
Nothing for me. Thank you.
All right, I don't think everybody was on an email, let me just highlight it. Stephanie Lowe, followed up, with a couple of us saying, hi all, thank you for the Albany Downtown Art Walk project with the Farmers Market last Saturday. The art portion was well received by market goers, and there's talk that an art section should be associated with it, but separate from the Farmers Market in the future. Rather than something that the Arts Commission can discuss with help in Albany, I believe Corvallis has something similar to this idea. She then gives us the contacts for the farmers markets, so that we do need to let them know several months in advance if we're going to try to hold anything, but that they're extra blocked up for them. So it'd be the fall or even next year's market. And Jill says that Albany really needs to help promote the art and arts more than what is being done. So, just wanted to bring that up since she decided for that to have to go to the commissioners. All should be aware of it. So something that we can consider in the future, how to do more art.
Oh.
Good.
Questionable. Sorry.
Other than that, nothing else?
I did ask Stephanie about next year. I said, hey, Stephanie, this was such a great show. We had a great turnout. You're gonna do this next year? She said, no.
Oh.
It's the Arts Commission Community Show.
Yeah.
Because I know.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
but I'll be happy, yeah.
And that updates.
I just want to say thank you all for your hard work. Like seriously, you can tell that you guys are busting your butts to get out there and be present and be a part of the community. And lovely. For a future, I want to let you know that I've got some quirky projects that I think this group I would love your help with within Parks and Recreation, as we're decommissioning some old playground equipment that is old metal animals, and I would love you guys to add some whimsy to it so that we can put them back in the park. So we also have like an old bike rack that looks like a bus. And so I just want you to know I'm a collector of weird, quirky, folky things. And I would love, as we move forward, I think this would be an appropriate venue. And so I just wanted to say, we're not going to talk about probably next month because next month's going to be mural, but in the summer, you're going to get to meet some of our little metal friends and see what we want to do with them. So that's
I can.
no problem.
Thanks for supporting us so well.
No, thank you guys.
We bring you a lot of trouble.
Well, she's gonna have fun.
It's good travel. That's fine. Good.
Next meeting is set for June 3:30. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. If anybody wants to see, sure you.
Maybe.